Welcome back. All right, 7 games tonight in the National Hockey League, and holy lord, lots of goals. In the event that this had happened on the 16-game night, I might still be crying about it. But that being said, we'll go ahead and start off with the game that didn't have the goals, and that's Philadelphia and Boston. Korpisalo had a good game. Didn't matter. Ersson versus Korpisalo. The Flyers had the early jump. Brinks denied. Korpisalo was busy early. The Bruins press at 4 minutes. The shots are 4 apiece 5 minutes into the period. Marchand has a net drive blocked, but it draws a power play. And then there's an extended 5-on-3. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1. Hathaway's denied. That power play ends up being killed off. Pastrnak to Elias Lindholm near miss. Things are pushy on a hold by Ersson. The Bruins had some momentum late. They couldn't score. So, second period. Flyers had the early jump again. The shots are 3-0 in favor of the road team 3 minutes in. Boston's the home team. It's surprising to see them get jumped twice early on. Bruins press. Lindholm has a shot that's held, and that's Elias Lindholm. And then Forster buries one from the slot. Andre and Frost with the assists at 5:32. Believe that's Emil Andre's first NHL point. Flyers then draw a power play. The shots are 7-5 Boston. With 8.5 minutes left, we get a power play for the Bruins. Shortly thereafter, that's killed off. Bruins press with 4.5 minutes left, but they're kept to the outside. And there's more zone time for the Bruins late in the period, but nothing really in close, nothing that dangerous. And so we go to the third period with the Flyers up 1-0. Flyers continue blocking the middle of the ice, and they did a masterful job in that third period. Bruins press at 2 minutes. We get a power play for Philly. Ersson very nearly kicks one in, but it ends up on the goal line. So he almost kicks it into his own net. I'm not saying like he kicked it all the way down the ice. That'd be epic, wouldn't it? And then it doesn't count. Goalie gets a goal by kicking it. Sorry, that's a kick. Bruins finish the kill after that. There's a power play for Boston. Pretty aggressive penalty kill for Philly. Does a good enough job of killing that penalty off that the Boo Birds are out in Boston at this point. Shots are only 1 apiece at 9 minutes. Masterful defense again by Philadelphia on this one. Bruins press at 9.5 minutes. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. The Flyers continue to clog the middle of the ice. Things are pushy on a hold by Ersson. Boston pulls the goalie, and Farabee hits the empty net at 19:46. The Flyers come out of Boston with a 2-0 win. They are now 3-6-1 on the season. Boston drops to 4-5-1. They are below 500. Shots on net, 11-7 Boston in the first, 9-6 Boston in the second, 6-3 Philly in the third. Final shots 23-19 for Boston. Power plays Philadelphia 0 for 2, Boston 0 for 4. And including that extended 5-on-3. The hits 28-23 for Philadelphia. Ersson saves 23 out of 23 for the shutout. Thus the Tony the Tiger magnet. Korpisalo saves 17 out of 18. Really good night for Korpisalo. And doesn't matter. All right, Seattle and Montreal. Man, Seattle at times looks like the Seattle that made the playoffs rather than the Seattle of last year. And tonight's one of those nights. Now, last year there was a game where Montreal cleaned the clocks of Seattle. It looks like they remembered. Stacord versus Montembeault is 25 seconds in, and it's the first shot that deflects in. Alexiak scores this one from Burakovsky and Stevenson. Then at 3:49, on their second shot, Evans. It's a point shot. It's another deflection. Eberle and McCann with the assist. So we're not even 4 minutes in. It's 2-0 for Seattle. Shots are 4-3 Montreal. 6 minutes in. We then get a power play for Seattle, and they score on it. What was their 6th shot of the game? Jaden Schwartz with the goal from Stevenson and Montour at 7:27. Alexiak has a rush chance that's held. And then on the 8th shot on net, Seattle scores again. And that was on a turnover from the slot. Bjorkstrand from Schwartz at 10:33. So not making it easy for Montembeault either. I would say of the 4, maybe the Schwartz one he could have had, but the other 3, anyways, we get a power play for Montreal. That's killed off. And then at 16:11, Caulfield buries a rebound and close to wake up the crowd a bit. Mayu and Slavkovsky with the assists. With 1:59 left, the Habs get a power play. They do not score on it. It is 4-1 Seattle after 1. Second period. Early Kraken power play, and they score on it. At 1:32, it's Montour from the point. Bjorkstrand and Stevenson with the assists, and just Montembeault just flat out misses it. So Caden Primo is in the net at this point. We then get a power play for Montreal. There's a shorthanded rush chance by McCann. That's held. Power play is killed off. Shots are 4-2 Seattle. 7.5 minutes in. Eberle's denied on a 3-on-2 rush. And then at 8:44, Montour buries his own rebound in it right next to the net. Alexiak and Schwartz with the assist. So Alexiak on the board with a goal and an assist tonight. Habs press with 6.5 minutes left. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Kraken press in the final minute. It is a lot to 1 in favor of Seattle after 2. Third period, the Habs had the only shot on net 4 minutes in, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a nice quiet period of hockey then. Montreal presses at 5 minutes. Seattle gets some pressure at 7.5. There's a power play for Seattle. That's killed off. Then we get a power play for Montreal. Seattle kills that as well. Shots are 5-2 for the Habs with 7 minutes left. Then we get some pushing and punching behind the Montreal net. There's 4-on-4 out of that. And then we end up with a power play for Seattle, and they score on it. Montour from McCann and Stevenson at 14-12. So Stevenson with 1, 2, 3, 4 assists by my count. So that's a tic-tac-toe, or no. That takes it from a 4-on-3 back to a 4-on-4, because that's a 4-on-3 power play goal. And then during the 4-on-4, Tolvanen buries one, a tic-tac-toe play on a rush. Mahura and Beniers with the assists at 15-14. Then, during the 4-on-4, Josh Anderson answers from Matheson and Struble 13 seconds later at 15-27. Kraken get a power play, that's killed off, and then we got a whole bunch of punching with 25.5 seconds left. And the final score is 8-2. So the No Mercy magnets on the board. The 80s magnets on the board as well. Shots on net, 15-9 Montreal in the first, 8-7 Seattle in the second, 8-6 Montreal in the third. Montreal outshoots Seattle 30-23. Power play, Seattle 3 for 6. Ouch. Montreal 0 for 4. The hits 19-16 Montreal. Decord, 28 saves on 30 shots. Montembeault saves 5 out of 10. Primo saved 10 out of 13 in relief. I don't know how much of this could be put on the goaltending. I think a lot of this is inexperienced defensemen. I really do. This is the kind of thing that can happen with an inexperienced defense. Years from now, we'll talk about how they looked rough as youngsters and how great they look as veterans. And that'll happen probably 3 years. 3 years from now, I would say Montreal will have an excellent defense, and nights like this will be forgotten. St. Louis Blues in Ottawa against the Sens. Yeah, that's the Sens, right? So the Senators, again, coming off of a road trip where they lost games against Las Vegas and then against Colorado that they should have at least got a point in. They didn't get points. And tonight they take it out on St. Louis. So it's Hofer versus Ullmark. This game was delayed by a power outage. Gord Miller joked during this game that with the way this game went, they're going to want power outages every game because that seems to work for them. At 1:04 on a rush, Norris tips one in. Giroux and Batherson with the assists. The shots are 3-0 Sens at 2.5 minutes. Texier has a one-timer that's held. And then at 4:44, Gregor scores from Amadio and a Stapchek. And I believe for a Stapchek, that's his first NHL point, right? The shots are 9-1 Ottawa, 7 minutes in. Yeah, this was not fair. We get a power play for the Blues. That's killed off. One shot. And then on an end-to-end rush, Stützle scores unassisted at 15:04. Just a beautiful play, and it's 3-0 for Ottawa. Batherson's then denied on a face-off win, but it stays 3-0 after the first period. Second period, early press by the Blues. Neighbors is denied on a rush. Batherson has a net feed that's picked off. The shots are 4-1 St. Louis 7 minutes in, so they were trying. Gregor has a rush chance that's saved. There's a power play for Ottawa, and they score on it. Brady Tkachuk from Batherson and Stützle at 8:55. Not long after, the Sens go back to the power play, and from the left circle, Tkachuk buries one. Sanderson and Stützle with the assists at 11:08, so Jordan Binnington comes into the net. Welcome to the net, and now it's time for them to score on you. At 11:50, on a turnover, Gaudette scores from Cousins. So the defense in St. Louis not doing their goaltenders any favors, and Ottawa up 6-0 at this point in the game, and we're just over halfway through. Sens press with 4 minutes left, but there wasn't really a whole lot to add with notes. We go to the third period with the score 6-0. 6. So Sundqvist takes a cross-check. He was unhappy. There wasn't a call on the play. He was sandwiched between two players as well. I don't think the referee saw it, to be honest. Shots are 2-1 for the Blues at 4 minutes, but Ottawa would get another at 7:31. Stützle scores from Chabot and Giroux, so now it's 7-0, but St. Louis gets a power play, and they score on it. Holloway scores from Texier and Broberg at 9:04, and I was thinking, I'm going to have the exterminate magnet out. Nope, not to be. Blues go back to the power play. That one's killed off as the Senators are out there shot blocking when they're up 7-1. I tell you, hockey players these days, you're risking broken ankles to block shots when you're up by 6. Defensemen from the old days are shaking their heads. So shots are 11-5 for the Blues with 6 minutes left. 4 players get roughing in like a scrum, so the refs are just ready to start throwing people out. And then on a turnover, a lot of turnovers. Gaudette scores at 15-27. I've seen fewer turnovers at a bakery than I saw from St. Louis tonight. That's terrible. Just, I'll memory wipe you. With 2:10 left, the Sens get a power play, and then we get 27 seconds of 4-on-4 and a really brief power play at the end for St. Louis. St. Louis loses 8-1 against Ottawa, so the No Mercy Magnet on back-to-back games. Ottawa goes to 5-4 with the win. St. Louis drops to 5-5. Shots on net, 16-8 Ottawa in the first, 10-6 Ottawa in the second, 13-9 St. Louis in the third. Final shots, 35-27 Ottawa. Power plays, St. Louis 1 for 4, Ottawa 2 for 3. The hits, 31-21 St. Louis. Hofer saves 16 out of 21. Not a great night. Bennington, not a great night for him. 11 saves on 14 shots. And at one point, as he's skating over to the bench to get himself a drink of water, he kind of looks down to Ullmark like, hey, you want to have a fight? And Ullmark kind of looked like he might have thought about it, but it didn't happen. Ullmark saves 26 out of 27. Why would Ullmark want to do that again? So I agree with Ullmark not thinking it's worth it. So last one on this board is Anaheim and the Islanders. And Anaheim continues to just lean on Dostal. And Dostal's like, I'd really like a Vezina. And so far, I think he might be the best goalie in the league this season. So it's Dostal versus Sorokin. The Ducks press at 2 minutes. The shots are 2-1 Anaheim at 3.5 minutes. Pulock has a screenshot that's held. McLean has a tip shot that's held as the Islanders get some pressure. Holmstrom to Barzal, there's a near miss there. More pressure by the Islanders 7 minutes in. Dobson has a shot that's tipped over the net. We then get a power play for Anaheim, and they score on it. Carlson tips in a point shot. Vetrano and McTavish with the assists at 14:05. Anaheim's got a 1-0 lead. Pajot's denied on a rush. The Islanders press with 2 minutes left, and then Fabry's denied back-to-back, but it's 1-0 Anaheim after one. Second period. The Islanders press early. There's a power play for New York. That's killed off. McTavish can't bury one in close. The shots are 6-1 for the Islanders 7 minutes in. The Islanders controlled large swaths of this game. Just Dostal was like, nah, I think I want the win tonight. So Killorn has a rush chance that's kicked aside. The Islanders draw a power play. McTavish fires one wide on a rush. That power play's killed off, and then the Devils get a turn, the Ducks get a turn, and they score on it. The Devils just came out on the ice in between these two teams and won. No, the Ducks score. It is Terry on the power play from McTavish and Zellweger at 14:07. He buries this one in close. They won the faceoff, and they got that in the net. So it's 2-0 Anaheim because of special teams. This is what shows this Anaheim team is a little different than previous years. Palmieri has a net drive that's blocked. The Islanders press with 1.5 minutes left, but frustratingly for the Islanders, even though they had 23 shots to the 16 for the Ducks, they're behind 2-0 after 2. Third period. Horvat hits the outside of the net on a rush. Terry then misses an open net at the other end. Shots are 2-1 Islanders at 3 minutes. The Islanders get a power play. That becomes 1 minute and 21 seconds of 5-on-3. That's just too much time on the 5-on-3. Unless you're Boston. So Barzal scores on the 5-on-3. He tips it in. Horvat and Dobson with the assists at 5:31. But then the Ducks kill off the 5-on-4. Very important to do that, of course. Things are pushy on a hold by Dostal after that's done. The Ducks have a 3-on-2 that misfires. We get a power play for Anaheim. That's killed off, but that takes 2 minutes off the clock. The Islanders press with 3 minutes left. Eventually, they pull the goalie looking to get the game tied up. Force an overtime. But Vetrano hits the empty net from Killorn at 19 minutes. The Ducks win 3-1. They even the record at 4-4-1. There's another team that got to 4-4-1. The Islanders 3-4-2. Close to 4-4-1, but not quite. Shots on net favored the Islanders the whole way. 13-9 in the first, 10-7 in the second, 18-6 in the third. Final shots are 41-22 in favor of the Islanders. Power plays, Anaheim 2 for 3, the Islanders 1 for 4. The hits, 22-16 for Anaheim because they didn't have the puck very much. Dostal, 40 saves on 41 shots. That's not right. Sorokin, 19 saves on 21 shots. Just Dostal is playing absolutely out of his mind this year. It's been great to watch. I don't know if it's sustainable, but we'll see. That being said, I do need to change boards. All right, next up, Minnesota and Pittsburgh. So Marc-Andre Fleury in his final visit to Pittsburgh, and I want to say it that way because there's part of me hoping that at the end of the year he's like, I'll come back one more year. But anyways, it's Fleury against Bloomquist. Zuccarello's denied and close. The shots are 4-0 Minnesota at 3.5 minutes. They come out very strong in this one. We get a power play drawn by the Penguins. Nice ovation for Fleury, and of course, a video package and everything because, Pittsburgh. That power play's killed off, and then the Wild go back to the box. So it's a pretty aggressive penalty kill. It looks like it's going to work until Puustinen buries one from the right circle past the screen. Grzelcyk and Crosby with the assist at 11:36. Then there's a shoulder save on Letang. The Wild rush the other way. Eriksson X denied. The rebound's held. At 15:31, Raquel wires one from the slot on a failed clear by Minnesota. Letang and Crosby with the assists. It's 2-0 Pittsburgh. You look at the final score and you think, what? Yeah, exactly. Then at 17:03, Lauko gets one from a sharp angle. Kuznetsov with the assist on that goal. And then at 17:57, Freddie Gaudreau gets his first of the season, unassisted to tie the game at 2. Penguins then were pressed to respond. With 47.3 seconds left, the Wild get a power play. So it's 2-2 after 1, and that power play rolls over into the second period where the Penguins finish the kill. But at 1:38, not long after that power play is done, Gaudreau scores the second. Kaprizov with the assist there. The Wild press at 5.5 minutes. The shots are 6-3 for Minnesota at 9.5 minutes. Penguins survive a yard sale at their net. Just everybody sticks everything all over the place, and yeah, puck doesn't go in. We had a fight between Faber and St. Ivany. The Wild come out of that one with a power play. Pretty aggressive penalty kill. They get some pressure to the Penguins, so kind of bewildering. The fans then call one. The referee doesn't. That power play's killed off shortly thereafter. Penguins press with 5.5 minutes left. We get a post for Beauvillier. Fleury holds on there. Rossi to Kaprizov gets blocked, but in the last minute of the period, and these are just killers, 19:23, Zuccarello on a tic-tac-toe play in close. He scores from Kaprizov and Rossi. It is 4-2 for Minnesota after 2. Third period, early jumps for the Penguins. The Wild press at 2 minutes, but at 3:36, Raquel, not sure why I put 3:34 on the board there. It's not my day. I mean, my brain's kind of here, but kind of not. Pettersson and Crosby with the assists on that goal for Pittsburgh, and suddenly it's a 1-goal game. And it was tipped in after a failed clear. The shots are 6-5 Penguins at 8 minutes. We get a power play for the Wild. That becomes 23 seconds of 5-on-3, and then it becomes 56 seconds of 5-on-3, but the Penguins survive all of that. So a lot of 5-on-3 stuff in that third period. Wild couldn't get it. The Penguins press with 2 minutes left. They would pull the goaltender, and at 19:41, the empty net is hit by Kaprizov. Gaudreau and Middleton with the assists. So Freddie Gaudreau with 2 goals and an assist tonight. The final score is 5-3. Minnesota's 6-1-2 to start the year. The Penguins 3-7-1. The misery continues in Pittsburgh. Your shots on net, 15-9 Minnesota in the first, 11-10 Pittsburgh in the second, 14-9 Minnesota in the third. Final shots are 39-29 Minnesota. Power plays, Minnesota 0-for-5, Pittsburgh 1-for-2. The hits, both teams had 15 hits. Again. Fleury, 26 saves on 29 shots, and Bloomquist saves 34 out of 38. So again, for Pittsburgh, it really is looking like this season's, I mean, it's early, right? But it's just not going their way. All right, next up, the New York Rangers and the Washington Capitals. This is the most exciting Capitals game I've seen in years, honestly. So it's Shesterkin versus Thompson. The Caps press at 2.5 minutes. Things are pushy on a hold by Igor. We're only 3 minutes in, and Capitals have 4 shots already. The Rangers have none. At 3:23 on what was their 5th shot, Ovechkin scores from Strome and Protas. So 1-0 there. But at 4:21, Cooley answers. On a rush, he buries a cross-ice pass. Kakko with the assist. And then at 5 minutes 10 seconds, Ovechkin in close on a turnover scores from Protas and Strome. So suddenly it's 2-1 in favor of the Capitals. Capitals go back to the power play. That's killed off. Actually, I think that was their first power play of the game. Yeah, it was. But they go to the power play. It's killed off. And then at 8:58, McMichael tips one in close. Radish and Sandin with the assists. So there's 3 goals for Washington. The Rangers, 2 shots to that point in the game. Caps press with 4.5 minutes left. Protas has a turnover chance that's held. It's 3-1 Washington after the first, and the home crowd's pretty happy. Second period, the Rangers have a full power play to start, and they don't waste much time. At 30 seconds, Kreider gets the power play marker from Zibanejad and Trocheck. It went off of his skate. I think they considered a challenge, but decided no. There wasn't a distinct kicking motion. I don't think there was much there, but that does make it a 1-goal game. Caps press at 2.5 minutes. We get a power play for Washington. There's a shorthanded rush by Kreider, and his stick just snaps. His stick was snapping on the shot. It made it look like the Washington player could have been penalized for a slash, but that stick, I think, was broken before he hit it. We get 126 of 4-on-4, which is unrelated to that Kreider play. Kreider wanted a call on that one. During the 4-on-4, Protas scores from Sandin and Van Riemsdyk at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And then also during the 4-on-4, 14 seconds later at 4:44, there was a 4-on-4 goal. And Hedel scores this one from Mancini and Schneider. We then get 21 seconds of 5-on-3 for the Rangers, but everything gets killed off there. We then get a power play for the Capitals. That's killed off. The fans call one. The referee does not. Near miss for Strome on a late rush. The Caps press in the final minute, but after 2 periods of play, it's 4-3 for the Capitals. Third period. Things are pushed in a hole by Igor. We get a power play for the Capitals. McMichael's denied during that. That power play's killed off. Caps have a 3-on-2. That fizzles out. The Rangers press, but they're kept to the outside. Not much to the net at that stage. McMichael and Wilson were denied back-to-back as Igor was doing his best to keep the Rangers in this. Shots are 8-3 Washington at 9.5 minutes. Hedel gets denied. The rebound's cleared. And then Cooley's denied from the slot. Good game for Thompson, even though the save percentage won't tell you that. Things are pushing again after Igor robs McMichael and holds on. Goalie pull happens with 1:45 left, and at 19:24, Nick Dowd hits the empty net from John Carlson, making the final score 5-3. The Capitals 6-2-0 on the season. The Rangers 6-2-1. Shots on net favored Washington the whole way. 19-5 in the first, 14-8 in the second, 13-6 in the third. Final shots 46-19 for the Capitals. This was a fun game. Power plays, Rangers 1 for 3, Washington 0 for 4. It may have been less fun for Ranger fans, I guess. Hits 22-17 Rangers. Shesterkin had a good night, 41 saves on 45 shots. And again, I didn't think Logan Thompson's save percentage did him any favors, but with 16 saves on 19 shots, he had some really key saves at certain points in the game. Just the Rangers didn't have that many shots. But when they did, they seemed to make them count. All right, next up, and last game of the night. What are you cheering for? It's the Kings and the Sharks. Oh, that's what you're cheering for, the Sharks. Look at that. The bandwagon is now Sharks. So, Rittich versus Vanacek. The Sharks draw an early power play. That was killed off because the penalty kill's pretty good for the LA Kings. Sharks go back to the power play. That's killed off as well. It managed 1 shot. The Sharks press are kept to the outside. The shots are 5-3 San Jose at 9 minutes. Since they spent 4 minutes on the power play, that makes some sense. Kings go to the power play. Then there's 6 seconds of 5-on-3. The Sharks kill that off. So the penalty kills worked out. Both of them 2 for 2 early in the game. Ruda has a shot that's blocked in the final minute. And is it bad offense, good defense, or both? Well, probably a bit of both. Lewis has a chance this kick aside, and so it's 0-0 after the first. Second period, there's an early press by the Kings. Cunnin has a net drive that's blocked. Things are pushy and a hold by Rittich. And then Wallman goes glove side, and Rittich just flat out misses it. Sturm and Grunstrom with the assists at 2:20. The Kings look to respond, and they do. At 3:18, so 58 seconds later, Thomas buries a rebound in close. Clark and Moore with the assists. It's 1-1. Kings then press for the lead. In fact, the shots are 9-2 LA at 5 minutes. This is where Vanacek earns his check tonight. Sharks press. Otherwise, he'd just be Vanna. I'm going to leave that. The Sharks press. They can't get to the net, though. Thompson has a shot that's saved. The Kings rush the other way after that. Sharks have a 3-on-1 that misfires, and then the LA Kings have a power play. That becomes 1 minute and 9 seconds of 4-on-4. Then we have 12 seconds of a 5-on-3 for the LA Kings. There's a shorthanded break by Granlund when it's 5-on-4. He's denied there, but it helps to kill off that penalty. Shots are 18-4 for the Kings with 4 minutes left. We'd only have 1 shot the rest of the way in the period, though. 3:27 left. The Kings get a power play. The referee sucks, but the Sharks kill off the power play, so the referee might have been told that he sucks by the crowd, but the penalty kill was great. And the Kings do press after, but they don't get a shot out of any of that. So it's 1-1 after 2. Third period, Sharks draw a power play. They cycle. It's cleared out. Power play's killed off. Gushchin can't hit an open net, and then Zetterlund wires one on a fast break. He scores from Wenberg and Wallman at 6:25. Jake Wallman putting up some serious points over the last couple of days, and so it's 2-1 in favor of San Jose. All right, so then the Sharks press for another. The shots are 6-0 San Jose at 8 minutes, but the Kings answer. At 8:52, Turcotte scores from Fogle. He buries one from the doorstep. Good forechecking by Fogle. I kind of thought Byfield should have had an assist on that as well, but that ties the game at 2. And then Moore to Thomas, there's a near miss as now the Kings are looking for the lead. However, at 11:02, Toffoli just kind of puts it around Rittich and into the net. He scores from Wallman. The goalie pull would happen with 1:45 left, and Eklund hits the empty net at 19:22. Cunnin and Ferraro with the assists. And then the Kings have a power play just to finish it out, because why not? Most of the night seem to be on the special teams. Why not finish that way? The Sharks win 4-2. The Kings drop to 5-3-2. They're having problems with the Sharks. They did beat the Sharks last week, but they had to hold on for that. San Jose 2-7-2. Like I said, I've been saying for weeks now, the Sharks are better than the record. Sharks are better than the record, and now it's starting to reflect that. Shots on net are 8 apiece in the first, 18-5 LA in the second, and then 8-2 for San Jose in the third. Good shutdown game by the Sharks in the third period. Final shots are 28-21 for the Kings. Power plays, the Kings 0 for 6, San Jose 0 for 4. The hits 20-15 San Jose. Riddick saves 17 out of 20. And Vanacek, good night for him. 26 saves on 28 shots. San Jose's getting good goaltending as well. So the Sharks getting a little better. We'll see if that continues. They won on back-to-back nights. So kudos to them. Congratulations. And we'll see where they can go from here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe in case you just happened through or haven't done that yet. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. Days like today come and go. And tomorrow will be a new day. So thanks for all your support with that. And I will talk to you again soon.